When I was 22, I started seeing a guy I met on a dating app named Hunter. At first, he seemed charming, funny, in a self-deprecating way, always knowing the right thing to say. We went on 4 dates before I started noticing the little things that didn't sit right. The way he drank too much, but insisted he was fine. The way he forced a kiss, even when I turned my head. The worst was the night he followed my car home, saying he just wanted to make sure I got there safe. That was when I decided to end things. I texted him, kept it short. He didn't reply. For a few days I thought that was until he showed up at my house with a bouquet of half-wilted roses. He smiled like we were still together, like nothing had happened. When I refused to let him in, his smile twitched. He gripped the flowers so tight that the stems snapped, petals falling to the ground. After that, I started seeing him everywhere. At the grocery store, near my gym, parked down the street from my house. I told myself I was being paranoid. Then one night I woke up to the sound of footsteps in my bedroom. My heart pounded. I stayed completely still, my body frozen with fear. Someone was moving slow and deliberate, rifling through my dresser. I heard them muttering under their breath, cursing. My breath hitched, and I slid off the bed as silently as I could, pressing myself into the shadows underneath. I stayed there, counting my breaths, until the footsteps stopped, until the floorboards creaked towards the window, till I heard the soft click of a lock being tested. And then, nothing. When the police arrived, they found every window unlocked. No signs of forced entry. They asked if I knew anyone who might have done this. I didn't have to think long. The restraining order came quickly, but it didn't erase the fear. Even after I moved to a new apartment, a new city, I still check my locks twice. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night convinced I heard footsteps, and sometimes I wonder if he ever really left. In 6th grade, a boy named Chris sent me a long Facebook message, confessing his love in clumsy, misspelled words. He said he thought I was beautiful, that he'd been in love with me since the first day of school. He ended with, "Please say you love me back." I didn't. I was polite, told him I wasn't interested. That wasn't the answer he wanted. The next day at school, he wouldn't look at me. By the end of the week, he was staring hard, watching me across the lunchroom, whispering to his friends. My best friend said he was just upset. Give him time. Time didn't help. A week later, my older brother came home fuming. Someone had keyed his car, deep scratches down both sides. The next night, small rocks hit my bedroom window, sharp taps that sent my heart racing. I pulled the covers over my head, pretending it wasn't happening. But it kept happening some nights, louder, more aggressive. I was too scared to look outside. When I told the school counselor, she smiled like I had told her something sweet. "Boys will be boys," she said. "Take it as a compliment." A compliment. A month later, I got his final message. All I wanted was a kiss. Years passed, and I moved on at least. I thought I had. Then one day I overheard my coworkers talking, a name I hadn't thought about in years. Chris arrested. They didn't know for what. I didn't ask. Even now, I don't open my door after dark. Shh. I flinch when someone knocks unexpectedly. Because some things don't go away. Some things stay with you, waiting in the shadows. I dated Emily for months before the red flags became impossible to ignore. At first, it was little things. Constant texts, questions about where I was, who I was with. Then she insisted we share locations. "It's just so I don't worry," she said, smiling. But worry wasn't the right word. Obsession was. She started showing up unannounced, at work, outside my gym. Once, I came home to find her sitting on my porch, crying, demanding to know why I hadn't answered her texts. If I took too long to respond, she'd call over and over until I picked up. If I tried to set boundaries, she'd scream, accuse me of cheating, say I was making her crazy. Breaking up with her was the hardest thing I ever did. Not because I had doubts, because I was afraid. I did it over the phone, knowing she'd try to talk me out of it in person. She didn't take it well. The threats started immediately, first vague, then specific. The night it happened, I ignored the texts buzzing on my phone, telling myself I was done with her, I was finally free. Then I woke up. My phone was lighting up with new messages, each one the same, over and over. "Wake up." A noise made my breath catch. A soft creak. The closet door. Before I could move, Before I could scream, she lunged from the darkness, a knife glinting in her hand. I barely had time to react. I tackled her, adrenaline taking over, pinning her down as she thrashed and screamed. My heart pounded as I held her wrists, forcing the knife away. I don't know how long it took for the police to arrive, only that when they dragged her away, she never broke eye contact. She just kept whispering, "You shouldn't have left me." She's in prison now. But sometimes in the dead of night, I still hear the closet door creak.